So it's now 10 o'clock. We are perfectly in time. So welcome everybody to this second day of our Italian EIT Food Italian Innovation Festival. This is the last event of year 2020 for the EIT Food Hub Italy. And we have prepared 5 days of intense work. Yesterday we had the meeting with the startups and stakeholders. It was very interesting. So startups had the possibility to show themselves and also to discuss with the different stakeholders. We have the bank system, we had experts, we have some companies, and as far as I know, there are already some contact going on, so among startups and among stakeholders. So that was basically the aim of the meeting, and I think one of the most important results of all EIT Food activities, networking and growing up of all innovative companies and startups in the food sector. Today we would like to discuss with all participants about the present and the future of the agri-food sector. We have the participation of the EIT Food CLC South representative Elvira Domingo, and the responsible for the EIT Food Hub Italy, Maria De Angelis. And after that, we will show you some important example of innovation in the food sector, as well as the experts of other EIT KICs that are really strict with the food sector, that are raw materials, health and climate. And then we will show you some example of the main activities carried out by University of Bari as EIT Food Hub in Italy in the last 3 years, with some with the participation of some of the startups and representative of the companies involved in our activities. So now I let the stage to Maria De Angelis and Elvira Domingo for their presentation. And welcome to everybody once again. Maria, the floor is yours. We can't hear you, Maria. It's very low, the audio. Not so well. It's very low. Try to fix better the plug of the microphone. It's very, very low. No. Okay, I think you should speak very loud.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now yes.
Okay.
Very well. Okay.
Good, good. So, first of all, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all for coming. It is my great pleasure and honor to welcome you at the EIT Food Italian Innovation Festival. In particular, this seminar is an awareness day on IT food activities and innovative realities of the agri-food environment with the participation of EIT Food CLC Sud and EIT Raw Materials Health and Climate Community of Knowledge and Innovation. And allow me to thank Elvira Domingo from Haiti Food Collocation Center of Madrid and all our colleagues for co-hosting this important event with us. Only few words to describe what is EIT Food. EIT Food is a knowledge and innovation community established by the European Institute for Innovation and Technology, an independent European body set up in 2008 to drive innovation and entrepreneurship across Europe. EIT Food intervenes through its operational arms, the Community of Knowledge and Innovation KIC, that create the condition in which innovation is most likely to thrive and generate discoveries. By 2020, we foresee eight innovation community, including climate, digital, raw materials, energy, health, manufacturing, and urban mobility. So the IT is growing and up, running, delivering innovation solution to grad social challenge, thus considerably increasing our impact in Europe innovation landscape. And it was
moltiplicando, ci auguriamo tutti con buon effetto. Questo webinar sarà breve, come è il caso.
Could you close your microphone? Thank you. It was estimated that there are 6 main challenges faced up by our society. It is estimated that there will be 10 billion of us until 2050. How we feel them? While in the same times, 1/3 of the food is wasted annually. Meanwhile, almost 2 billion adults worldwide are overweight, and about 800 million are undernutrition. The impact of food on Mother Nature we take, but we also give back a lot of harmful side effects, disposables, plastic, or meat production, for example. Another challenge is the fragmented supply chain. Disconnect actors very slow adapting to the innovation. Well, but it's not really easy to provide yourself proper nutrition and find true, honest food, lack of transparencies, misleading information, and sometimes confusion. The mission of EIT Food is to help developing the agri-food sector in Europe in order to fulfill consumer needs and to cope with the global challenge in the food sector. And the EIT works through innovation triangles with several and different actions such as funding, training, partnership, co-creation lab, communication with the citizen, and additional support for less developed region in Europe, that means this region, always focus on the consumers. The EIT works through by using a pan-Europe organization with headquarters in Leuven, Belgium, and region office in different location. As one of the EIT Food Collocation Center, the CLC Sud was established in Spain in 2018 to build bridges among leading business, university, research centers, institutes, and the food market. It consists of partners from Italy, Israel, Spain, and local innovation hubs in Greece, Italy, Portugal, and Turkey. The EIT Food is a network. This is consortium partnership composed by more than 60 pan-European companies and research centers. The mission of EIT Food cannot be reached without cooperation with the leading partners for every step of food chain, leveraging on their know-how, experience, and access to market from European and even global perspective. The University of Bari is an Italian hub since 2018, and it was selected for its relationship capacity and participation in bodies that aggregate public and private entities such as the Agri-food cluster and the District for Biotechnology, ACABio District, and its internal support structure for students and graduates such as Eurodesk and Placement Agency. Valuable elements involve the hub activities are Technopolis and Bilab. The hub mainly deals with the activity of the risk area, which for the Italy includes 11 regions. Molise, Puglia, Basilicata, Calabria, Sicilia, Sardegna, Umbria, Marche, Abruzzo, Campania, e Val d'Aosta. With a consumer-centric approach, our main goal is to deliver a healthy lifestyle for citizens by enhancing high value-added cooperation and integration in order to stimulate innovation, talent development, and consumer involvement. In the 3-year period from 2018 and 2020, EIT Food has developed many interactions specific for the risk area that have a significant impact on the agri-food sector and can be classified by thematic area. The first is training, graduation cap, to the intervention in white that are repeated since 2018, such as fellowship for young graduates, Government Executive Academy for Public Administration, the summer school on new product development, or demo days for young entrepreneurs and stakeholders in the sector. Specific projects are carried out every year in yellow. For 2020, for example, we have training activity for develop of entrepreneurship skills of women in agri-food, support for producer in the dairy sector for the identification of specific problem and their possible solution, and the summer school and connector workshop with the students and stakeholders for the implementation of sustainable rural activities. The second is the business creation growth diagram. Also in this case, where projects that are repeated every year, such as the innovation scouting activities for startup, the innovation prizes, pitch competition for young startups, the contribution to legal expenses and accounting, the field trials, for example, test farm, the challenge lab, and then jump starter, which see training a competition of informal groups of young people with innovative entrepreneurial idea, including multi-sector ones, considering that jump starter is a cross-kick activity. The third is experts and researchers with the creation of a networking community on LinkedIn for sector expert activity, on LinkedIn, sorry, for sector expert activity since 2018, and specific annual projects such as the 2020 project on the improvement of the technology on the olive sector. Finally, the four concern the consumers, with the Consumer Engagement Lab, a co-design laboratory for consumer over 65, which has also been held in Italy since this year. Further activity carried out by Italian EIT Food Hub will be described by Barbara De Ruggeri at the end of this morning. For further details or questions, you can also contact us by email or looking to officer website. And now I thank you for the attention, and it is my great pleasure to welcome Elvira Domingo from EIT Food Services Sud. Now Elvira will talk about the EIT Food results in 2020 and prospects for 2021. Please, Elvira, the audience is yours.
Buongiorno a tutti, but don't get too excited because this is the only I can say for now in Italian. Let me just share my screen. Oh, it says I cannot do it yet. Let's see now. Yeah.
You should do now. Okay.
Yeah. Can you see?
Yes, sure.
Perfectly. So, yeah, thank you, Barbara and Maria, for this fantastic introduction about EIT and EIT Food. As Maria was saying, in EIT Food, we have been working across the whole Europe, but with more specific support to the southern and eastern regions of Europe. And this is what I would like to explain you today a little bit more in detail. All the activities that we do in EIT Food are focused across 6 areas that we have defined, which are alternative proteins, sustainable agriculture and aquaculture, including cattle, targeted nutrition, digital transformation of the food system, and circular food systems. Of course, all of the 6 areas are always working, thinking on the consumer demands, on the consumer needs, and thinking on what is actually possible to make the food system more healthy, sustainable, and trusted at the end of the day. We are also very much aware that the food system needs a digital transformation across the whole value chain, and this is why this is out of the boxes, because it is implemented across each of the activities that we do. This year has been quite tough for the agri-food system. However, we have invested more than 5 million euros on startups that were in danger of stopping their innovation or the access to market. So we have supported 3 startups with this COVID Bridge fund, and luckily for them, they have been able to manage this crisis, and they have been able to continue with their activities. Also, we have invested more than 6 million euros in innovation projects that were addressing in some way or another or tackling actually the challenges around the COVID crisis in the agri-food system. So addressing the innovation from several points. Some of the highlights of this 2020 across the southern and eastern Europe have been that we have increased our network of partners. As Maria was saying, at the moment we have more than 90 organizations between universities, research institutes, industries, companies, but also startups, and we have managed to increase this the number of stakeholders that were engaged in our community. Due to the pandemic, we have done a study across these regions as well, where we evaluated the impact of the COVID-19 on the agri-food system. To this event, more than 800 people attended and gathered learning and knowledge from the whole, the great experts that we actually had at the event. In events like the one today, we have had more than 3,000 participants. But what is even more important is that we have managed to deliver 4 new products into market, that we have trained 50 women with entrepreneurship skills that are now putting their products in market. And also with startups, we invested more than 5 million on these countries, specifically in startups. More than 500 entrepreneurs have been trained in our programs, and we hope that these are more the next year. And almost 400 million euros have been given in prizes. So it's big numbers. We are growing, as I was saying. These are bigger and bigger, and the number of activities that we are doing in the Southern and Eastern Europe are also growing a lot. Just so you have an idea on what we will have and which in which projects we will be able to participate next year, I will give you an overview of all the activities that we will be running, okay? I hope it's not too confusing, because there are lots of them, but I'm always here, so please, if you have any question, just raise hand or let me know. In education, well, first of all, we have split our 4 areas. We have split our activities in 4 areas: education, innovation, public engagement, and entrepreneurship. In education, we have set up fellowships programs that most of the students that are with us today will be able to benefit. These are paid internships with our partners for a period of 3 to 6 months. But now, the next year, there will be also possibilities for vocational or professional students. The public representatives also have a role in the ecosystem, and then we also work to train them, to extend their network, to give them the skills on how to apply the funding, the European funding, on more industrially oriented research and also entrepreneurship. So we will have 2 new programs for them next year. But also, of course, we cannot forget about professional education, professional development. In this sense, we have set up 4 programs. One is called SUDAPS. This is specifically dedicated to the dairy sector, and we give them training and ready-made solutions for them to apply into their business so they can grow in a more sustainable way. The new product development program is focused on gathering professionals from the food industry and train them in new methodologies and techniques to develop products in a more sustainable and healthy way as well. The Growing Consciousness program actually started this year in Italy, Poland, and Spain, and it will grow next year. And this is focused on those rural areas which have a possibility to grow traditional varieties, but that, as usually they are not an intensive market. They grow in small businesses, but there is a need for them, and we want to also foster entrepreneurship and biodiversity through this type of programs. There will be also the We Lead program. This is specifically addressed to leadership women in the agri-food industries or in the agri-food system, to develop their role in a more equity manner and with more possibilities. We will also have summer schools. As you are aware, summer schools are usually intensive programs for a week or more sometimes, that the next year will be focused on 3 specific topics: targeted nutrition, digital food chains, and circular food systems. Again, all of the southern and eastern participants will have access to these programs, and these are specifics to these participants. So you have more possibilities than others, let's say. The last program that we have in education are these two, regenerative agriculture. This is very much oriented to train farmers to move towards more regenerative and more sustainable agricultural practices, forgetting about the old traditional ways of cultivating. And also the resistant pipeline, because as Maria was saying before, one of our objectives is to set up the network, but also to attract, to engage people into the scientific, mathematical, technology, engineering areas where Europe, unfortunately, is missing lots of participants, but specifically the RIS regions, the modest to moderate innovator countries, where these degrees, let's say, are not so much demanded by the students. So we have set up a specific activity to attract them and to retain them in this field. We will also continue with our business creation programs. These are a big amount of our programs. And why? Because one of the main issues that we have in Europe is that although we are doing at universities and research centers fantastic innovation and fantastic research, this research is not getting into market. The products, the services that we develop are not reaching the final customers, either business or consumers. So we have to do a special focus and activities with entrepreneurs. And which are the benefits for these participants, for these entrepreneurs in the agri-food system that participate with us? Well, first, they have access to our whole network of partners, which are from big to smaller companies, but also to other startups, universities and research centers as well. They have the access to the facilities, the infrastructure, the labs of these universities and these research centers, so they can test their products. They have access to funding, to finance, and they can follow up with other programs as well inside EIT Food. But we also give them specific support through their journeys, because we give them training either on sales, marketing, business development, but also on technical possibilities. We give them access to the mentors that they need so that they can keep growing with their businesses. And of course, we use our whole infrastructure of network and social media channeling to promote them, and we give them the media exposure that is needed, especially at the beginning, so they can continue developing their businesses. Which are the programs that we have set up for them? We have established across the whole stages of the development, because we don't want to leave them alone at some point, and we want to make sure that they are successful from the beginning to the end. Just so you are aware, 9 out of 10 startups fail in the process of when they get the idea to when they are in markets. 9 out of them are dropping, are failing in that process. So we need to avoid that happening. And as I was saying, we have set up 4 specific areas of work. The pre-launch, when the beneficiaries only have an idea that they want to develop. Here we provide them co-founder matching, challenge labs, EVA, which is specific for women, but also we have a startup manual that they can download for free from our website. In the launch and accelerate programs, we have the seedbed and the food accelerator programs. These are an incubator and an accelerator. In the incubator is a 6-month program, which helps them to validate their idea in market with real customers. And the food accelerator network is a 4-month program with specific training and mentoring and access to the next funding. In the scale stage, we have the Rising Food Stars program, which is specific for those startups, or some of the best startups that are around Europe can apply to become part of this association. And once they are part of it, they can play in equal manner to all of our partners in innovation, education, or public engagement programs. So it's a great association to become part of. And last but not least, we have the water scarcity program, which is specifically helping, supporting those startups that are addressing challenges around the water sector. As I was saying, for the southern and eastern regions, we have these specific activities, and I will mention briefly some of them. There is a specific support for application that we give them, so we can ensure that the proposals they have when submitting their application for example, Rising Food Stars, Seedbed, or the Food Accelerator program are in the best quality. Because sometimes we have just not developed this education on how to write a proposal, so we ensure that it's absolutely great and that we will be selected as the good startup that they are. We also have the challenge labs. These are very much focused on working around the challenges of the food industry. For example, this week we are running one with Danone across the yogurts and delivering more sustainable yogurts. So we are working with 45 participants, and we will probably have nice ideas out of this hackathon. Some of the other programs that I was mentioning before are the EVA program. This is specifically addressed to women. Next year it will support 70 of them from the 50 that it was this year, so growing. The co-founder matching, as I was saying, here what we are doing is matching those entrepreneurs that have great ideas, or even research groups that are working around a project, but they want to put it into market. So we put them together with a business development people that are actually experienced on developing businesses, and together they set a team, and they can work around the creating and transforming this idea into an actual company. The Test Farms program is also an initiative in which we are matching farmers with startups. In that way, the farmers can benefit from applying the new technologies into their fields, and the startups can benefit of actually getting into market and getting access and testing their products. And as I was saying before, the water scarcity program is looking for scale-ups or SMEs tackling challenges around the water sector. Of course, we will continue with our innovation programs. These innovation activities are mostly led by our partners. In this case, we will have 3 activities mainly focused in the southern area of Europe. One of them is trying to tackle obesity, setting some programs to predict the potential obesity development. We have the Phenoils program. This one is trying to extract oil with more amount of phenolic compounds, but also to extract it in a more I cannot find the English word. To extract more oil, to be more efficient, to have a more efficient process out of extraction. And the biochar and compost soil amendment is a program that is trying to enrich the soil quality with developing compost in a more sustainable manner. Last but not least, we have, as I was saying before, a specific focus on citizens. Everything that we do is focused on the consumer demands. For this reason, we have set up an expert community. Here, you have a community where if you are researchers or if you are interested in the agri-food sector, you can share your knowledge, share different experiences with other peers. It's in LinkedIn, and we already have more than 400 participants. The next year, we will have 7 programs running in the southern regions mostly, and we'll be working directly with citizens on reducing childhood obesity, reducing also the prevalence of non-communicable diseases, but also on a program to reduce the greenhouse emissions. So these are all focused and working directly with citizens. And as Maria was saying before, the consumer engagement labs, where we co-create with senior population products that satisfy their specific demands for people that are older than 65 years old. What will happen after 2020? In EIT, the risk regions, the modest to moderate innovators, we will have a specific focus on higher education institutions. Engaging universities is absolutely key for us and for the future development of EIT Food, and we will work towards that objective. We will also build on the specific assets of each country. We have started this year already by gathering experts in different sections and with different backgrounds from each of them of these regions, but also we will build on synergies with the European structural and investment funds. We want to work on the smart specialization strategies that each country has set up around the agri-food sector, and develop common initiatives together and common activities that help us to transform the agri-food system in a more sustainable, healthier, and trusted system. This is all from our side. As I was saying before, if you have questions, if you want to get know more about EIT Food, about our activities, about our programs, you can contact me or our colleagues in Italy, Barbara or Maria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Elvira. And I think now we have a clear idea of what EIT Food is doing and will do next years. And thank you also, Maria, for her presentation. And now we will go on with our works today. And I'm pleased to present 3 examples of innovation in food, totally different, but that can give an idea on how innovation can really strengthen our food ecosystem in Europe with some possibility in sharing and networking, like for the Valletta Design Cluster food space, that Caldon Mercieka, that is the creativity manager of Valletta Design Cluster, will now present to us. So Caldon, the floor is yours. Please talk about your food space. We are very curious to know something more about it.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for the introductory sessions within this webinar, because I think that set up a really good context for the whole morning. We are ourselves in the process of organizing our EIT Food Awareness, which will start actually this evening. So it is really perfect timing for us, and I'm really glad and I'm really thankful for being invited to participate in this. I will try now to share the screen so that to be able to make my presentation. Can I ask how much time do I have, given there are 3 presentations in this session?
About 15 minutes.
About 15 minutes, okay. Okay. So my name is Caldon Mercieka. I am the manager of the Valletta Design Cluster. I will try to present a kind of a high-level context okay, of our food space, because it is only one of the elements that we are addressing, and I think it makes sense if we explain, if we kind of understand the urban creative cross-disciplinary environment within which we are working, and how this relates to agri-food, which may sound something outside of an urban context, but hopefully I will try to explain, at least in the case of Malta, why this is why it is important to make these contacts. So I will also focus on how we used design, given that we are the Valletta design cluster, how we use design to integrate this kind of engagement with the agri-food business and with a number of other stakeholders, how these are all related to each other, and how design thinking can be used for the benefit of startups, of NGOs, of policymakers, and of all of these when they work together, so that they can provide solutions for each other, policy interventions for each other, but also successful business ventures and successful, maybe also activist initiatives that are there to increase awareness. So I will not assume that people know where we are. I always like to start with this, which I've stolen, but I am acknowledging there from Studio Ghibli. Maybe some of you know the film of Castle in the Sky. But I like this quote because I relate it very much to when we look towards the problematic side of Malta. We are an island in the Mediterranean, as you know. When I was involved in tourism, I also knew that many Italians did not know exactly where is Malta. Sometimes they thought we are close to the Balearics, sometimes we're close to Cyprus. So we're a bit like floating over the Mediterranean Sea, you know. But there is also, you know, apart from kind of the joking side of this, there is also the serious part of why design. Design is very problem-solving oriented. It is a practical way of using our awareness of problems and using a technique which is participative, open, and iterative, meaning that you don't get things perfect immediately, but you improve as you go along. So I like this because it links our kind of geographical context with our more, let's say, intellectual and kind of social aspects of how we relate to each other. So that's kind of more on the higher level. And then I also like to use this map, which is a kind of a very unusual map of Europe. This is a real map. It's found in the Mausoleum of Comenius in Holland. And actually it shows Malta down there under Sicily. So we are down there, very, very far in the south, not far away from Bari and from our Italian colleagues. And yeah, so we're part of Europe, but we're also, and I think this is important, we are in a very kind of particular geographical climatic situation. We're an island, so there are definitely huge impacts from a climate change perspective and from an environmental perspective that have a strong impact on the local agricultural sector and on all the chain, including the food, not the food chain, the food cycle, given that we import most of our goods, including food, and when it comes to exports, there are additional costs. There are also rain and kind of water access issues that have an impact. But there is also a kind of an incubator environment. Now we're small, so we can work together. We can connect to each other, hopefully in a kind of more easily, and that can lead to maybe better innovation, better exchange of ideas. We are also one of maybe the only European country that you can actually capture in one photo. So these are the islands, but it also gives you an idea of the huge pressure there is on the rural environment, because all of the kind of built-up areas, mostly around the harbor there in the center, which is where the Valletta Design Cluster is found as well. There has been a huge increase in the urban sprawl in the last 40, 50 years, with a peak towards the last 10 years. And this has increase the human pressures on what we call the nature-based solutions, over and above the already very demanding climatic and environmental pressures relating to hot summers, low precipitation, etc. There are still, of course, very important nature-based solutions and nature-based resources. The sea is one of them. I see that one of the speakers is related to kind of the blue economy. So there is kind of this wider context as well. But this kind of urban-rural kind of not divide, but kind of interaction and clash sometimes and contradictions. I think these are very important for our realities. As I mentioned, in the last few years, we've had a lot of kind of pressures coming from the construction industry, from people in different industries. And basically, every time there is a proposal for a major development, there is going to be some very significant social, urban, and very often natural or rural impacts. So these are realities that we are constantly facing and living, and we need to kind of address. This is an image of Valletta from the sea. Let's say behind you there is Sicily, and this is looking towards the southwest. Valletta was built from scratch in the 16th century. It's kind of based on a kind of a Renaissance approach, where the streets are built on a grid system. It is now a World Heritage Site, and the thinking behind heritage cities is that they are fixed. They're kind of museum pieces. They can't change. While in reality, these are ecosystems that react to human demands. And I'm using the example of urban spaces as an analogy to our thinking in terms of how to be flexible, how to be open, how to interact on multiple levels, on multidisciplinary levels with different stakeholders, and how to bring stakeholders from the agri-food business with stakeholders from enterprise, from academia, from civil society. There are many interactions already going on, and we see our role as being a platform for these interactions and exchanges. This is another image which I like to use. It's an old map of Valletta, and it does not reflect what actually happened. This was a plan, and there are a number of major projects here which did not happen. Which makes it interesting, because we used to use maps historically as a projection of who we are. This is us, humans and societies, mapping ourselves and reflecting in the map who and how we want to live together. And I think that kind of vision for a flexible, more proactive, dynamic and co-creative approach is really important, because now we are facing challenges where different sectors have been structured in such a way that there are different ministries, different policy areas, different professionals and expertise that are disconnected from each other. And what we would like to do is to bring these together. So bringing people from, as I mentioned, from entrepreneurship to feed into people working in the agri-food business and the agri-food practices, and other areas of collaboration. There is a lot of development in technology, for example, that can feed into innovation in an agri-food. Again, this is just an example of the flexibility. This is a public square in Valletta that is completely transformed since 10 years ago. So there are possibilities for change. And if we can transform cities, I think we can also then transform other human structures, more intangible infrastructure, like social infrastructure that is needed, to reflect our contemporary needs. This is the space where we are based within Valletta. We have worked very closely with our neighborhood. The building, which is highlighted in green there, is in the heart of a residential area of Valletta. And although we want this space, and we always wanted this space to be a kind of a creative space for people working in cultural, creative, social areas and practices, we needed to take into consideration, very important consideration, the interactions with the neighboring community. And this again is a kind of a good analogy for how we connect to our ecology, our stakeholders in the wider sense. Highly urbanized. So this is the space as we found it a few years ago. The building was in a state of abandonment. It was falling into a kind of disrepair. Most of the roofs had collapsed. It is in an urban space, very close to the sea. The building used to be an old abattoir, so even historically it is linked to food production, to meat in this case. It was an old abattoir, slaughterhouse in the 16th century, but then for health purposes it was moved outside. The abattoir was moved outside of the city walls, and the building became a number of kind of casa bottega approach. So people lived and worked there. So there were carpenters, metal workers, bakeries, seamstresses who worked on clothes, and so it was very similar to what today in contemporary language we call a maker space. Okay, so it's a space where people make things. They use crafts and technologies to create products that can find the market. Again, this is the context, but you can see the proximity to where people are living. Okay, so taking into consideration residents in this case was really important for us, because we did not want to be a kind of a colony of artists, creatives, practitioners in a kind of an environment which considers us as aliens. Okay, we wanted to be integrated in this environment. Yeah, this was the space like only a few years ago. There is also, apart from the building, there is the social history. And I think this is also important when it comes to speaking vis-a-vis the agribusiness sector. There are local traditions, there are local practices, which have been either forgotten or kind of, well, crushed by the industrialization of the sector. And there is a kind of a reawakening now, a new interest in old practices, in old food varieties, in different areas, and this is coming up. You can only kind of be sensitive to these historical roots if you are very close with the practitioners themselves, if you are ready to listen, if they are able to inform policy that can then be of service to the sustainability and to the historical valorization of your sector. In this case, agri-food business. In our case here, the urban environment and its historical values. Yeah, the more you dig, the more you find. There is a, and these are not just historical photos. Just to go back on this, the picture of the marriage there was given to us by one of the neighbors. So it is living memory, and I think also in a number of sectors. We experience this in crafts as well. There's the older generation who know the material. They have a deep knowledge of the materials that they use. The younger generation who have grown up with digital tools, they do not have access to the direct awareness of how metal, how wood, how these materials perform. And the same with the agri-food business. So there is this kind of widening and reintegration of historical knowledge. Yeah. So we started with workshops, and mapping was our first effort to understand the values that people associate with the space and the vision that people have for the space. And this was a workshop with an initial group of stakeholders, very early stage, again, using design thinking as a process where we try to understand. We're trying to learn, we're gathering knowledge at the early stages. And these were a number of workshops, and they included also some artistic interventions in the street. Very early stages where we invited people to interact with us. But even here, like in the workshop, we have urban planners, architects, community workers, museum curators. It's kind of architects, people coming from different contexts. I mentioned design thinking, and I just make a kind of a passing reference to this. For us, this is kind of where we are immersed in this as much as possible. We try to use this constantly, and it's not as simple as the model is. You are on multiple design thinking levels and processes with different sectors at the same time, and so sometimes you need to start again. Sometimes you need to bring in new knowledge that you bring in. We're also using, of course, design, as we mentioned, and there are these 3 interactions. This is quoted from a recent document by the Design Council in the UK, where there's this interaction between the head, the thinking, the problem-solving approach, the heart, which is the kind of the human-centered approach, the human sensitivity, and the history that comes, and all these kind of intangible values, and the practical skills, the knowledge, the know-how. That is available there, but also which can be refined, that can be learned and transmitted. And we also use this kind of placemaking model, where you have interaction between these 4 dimensions, where the social aspect, the accessibility and the linkages with different sectors, comfort and kind of practicality, and also the use and the activity. Why do you exist? What service are you providing? And this is really important for us, because it's useless devising a service when it is not informed by the real needs on the ground. So that interaction is really, really important. I also find this contribution by Richard Sennett, an American sociologist, as very kind of inspiring, that it is not the sanitization of space that we need. There has been a tendency for sanitization of space, or museification of space, or kind of using traditional techniques as some kind of something to preserve rather than something to value for its contemporary use and maybe even entrepreneurship potential. So there needs to be this kind of breaking of boundaries and of silos. So this was a meeting with the residents that we had in very early stages, and people were able to contribute. And based on this model, we had several meetings with different contributors, including in the agri-food business, including in making and kind of arts and crafts, architecture, engineering, robotics, social enterprise, different areas. And these are not different so that we did not want to keep these separate from each other, but we wanted to give each of them space so they feel comfortable to interact with themselves. So first, there are the issues that come out, and then they interact with each other as well. For example, from this neighborhood meeting, the suggestion came out, and we actually implemented it. We are implementing it now, that the roof of the building, this is already, as you see, kind of quite advanced in the works. The roof of the building should be transformed into a public garden, and the creation of a public space was really important when we are speaking of an urban space which does not have green spaces, open spaces. This is also now serving us as a very important bridge with startups and practitioners that are interested in urban gardening, community gardening, urban agriculture, hydroponics, other technologies that do not use traditional techniques, but also aspects that link into kind of our local climate and our local kind of ecology. So this is really serving us very, very, very well, especially when you link it with a space inside, which is going to be dedicated for food practice, with a teaching kitchen and an industrial kitchen for community participants to make use of. Ongoing interaction with the neighborhood was really important, bringing people inside and getting feedback and suggestions, and making people already imagine how they can use the facility, what resources they can bring, and what resources would they like to find. And this really relates not only to physical resources like equipment, tools, spaces, but also knowledge. Knowledge, I think, is maybe as big as all the others put together in terms of importance and central, in terms of bringing people and being really useful in terms of transition. of transmission rather between people who have the knowledge and people who would like to gain access. Number of workshops. One here is on social enterprise. The other one is specifically a focus group on the roof garden that we had. And this is another meeting with the neighborhood, which we had in the refectory of a monastery very close to our building. So again, we're using spaces that are familiar with the community. This was a very interesting experiment for us. We had a kind of a very informal, improvisational cooking session with a local NGO that is trying to work with local food producers, farmers, and farmers of different, from local vegetables, olive oil, meat. They work with young farmers, and they then make use of the products for this kind of teaching and community activity. This is not a dedicated food space. This is actually the canteen of an architectural firm inside Valletta, which is kind of transformed whenever there are these type of activities. And this is the kind of inspiration that we try to look for, where we can have spaces that are so flexible that you can have people coming from from architecture, from design, but also from agribusiness, from food production, from technologies that can feed into that, and they can interact, okay, around food, both physically around food, but also conceptually around food, meaning how to develop better practices when it comes to more sustainability, or better awareness of international marketing or international collaborations. So these are all areas we're trying to look at. And again, this quote at the bottom, where we are becoming each other's infrastructure. The resources that we have are useful for others, and sometimes you don't even, you wouldn't have planned that your resource is going to be useful for a particular sector.
Sorry, 2 minutes left.
Yes. So this kind of, again, openness for collaboration is really important, because innovation is something that can be either planned, but it can also be something that is surprising. That you discover that there is a potential once you start working with different groups and people. So this is kind of our general approach, let's say our philosophy, okay? Being open, being playful, ready to experiment, and creating a safe environment for experimentation, but then also being dynamic, not being static, and not being tied to a kind of a static past or static practices, but trying to feed into these new dimensions and being engaged with the community. And this can be applied to different communities. So the agri-food business, the maker community, the resident community, students, etc. We're trying to adopt a living systems approach, where we acknowledge the complexity of the community, that we are also responsive to people's needs and try to be flexible and adapt to these demands, and also cultivating the diversity of the views and of the practices that are involved. This can be expanded, but I'm really rushing through all of this. But I think this, just acknowledging the complexity and work within that complexity, within these different dimensions, is I think an important value. Again, this is kind of an attempt to simplify a mapping of our stakeholders, from social activists to enterprise and the whole entrepreneurial ecology, our members, and then international partners. These are all interacting with each other and with us, and we can serve as a platform for them to interact more fruitfully with each other. Yeah, there are different models. These are all just tools, of course, to help us understand how we can engage with each other. So we have the quadruple helix. Again, it's another model where you can bring in together knowledge institutions, private actors, citizens, and other public actors. And this is, in a way, the final product, of the cluster. So again, complexity. So there are multiple users within the same space. The food space is present there, but it is also linked to meeting spaces, to a maker space, co-working, a number of studios, the roof garden. These are all interacting with each other physically, but also socially, the people themselves. It is the people, of course, that make them alive, and the way they interact with each other. Okay, I will stop there.
Thank you very much, Kaldon. This was really interesting, and as soon as we'll be able again to travel, I will absolutely come and visit you, because it's very interesting, the idea, how did you build it, and also I'm very curious on how this will work, especially in our sector, in the food sector. So thank you again for showing your innovative idea and experience. And now I would like to invite to speak Marina Kovari, that is a slow food representative of Bologna community. She is very active. She was also a KIC climate staff in the last years, so she's very involved in all EIT activities. But now she's basically involved in slow food activity. So they develop a specific integrated strategy on food, culture, and European policies for Bologna, and she's going to show us their ideas and projects. Please, Marina, the stage is yours.
Hi, hello everyone. Thank you for inviting me. And my name is Marina, and I am a member of Slow Food Bologna, and I'm telling you the story of this food policy that we built in Bologna during the COVID-19. And this story is the story of the lack of just one word. And this is the story of how the lack of just one word could start a revolution from the very bottom of society. And we, as Slow Food Bologna, are promoting this food policy among all the organizations and people involved into the food sector, and basically every single citizen who eats. And first of all, what is slow food? So basically we are a red snail in the world, and Slow Food is an Italian organization. Now it's a very international organization, and was founded in 1989. And the major object is to prevent the disappearance of local food cultures and traditions, and to face the rise of fast life, of fast food, and to combat people decreasing interest in the food they eat, where it comes from, and how our food choices affect the world around us. And since its beginnings, slow food has grown into a global movement. And nowadays, slow food involves millions of people in all over the world. Probably now we have 160 countries, and we are working together to ensure everyone has access to good, clean, and fair food. And this word, slow, good, clean, fair, and food, are our vision, our mission, and our actions. And like Slow Food, we are creating a network to connect different communities, launching national and international campaigns, managing international events like Terra Madre, like cheese, slow fish, and so on. And we are supporting farmer markets, we are promoting food and taste education, and we are protecting local food, building presidia around them, and this means that we save this local food into our arc of taste, thanks to the precious help of our Biodiversity Foundation. And of course, we are working on climate change, land grabbing, water scarcity in so many ways. And Slow Food is a strong stakeholder in every political level, and we are able to negotiate with public institutions on different scale. And for us, of course, food is a political act and a solid social institutions. And throughout our food choices, we can really and collectively influence how food is cultivated, produced, and distributed. And of course, we can change the world as a result. And we are not consumers, but we are co-producers. And Slow Food is deeply committed to achieving just and profitable opportunities sales for the farmer. Is committed also to fostering trade that offers a dignified life to the people who work in the food sector. This is very, very important for us. And our purposes, of course, are very huge because from our point of view, food could also be a revolution from the very bottom of society, a cultural revolution, because food is a matter of culture after all. So, but what about the slow food food policy for Bologna? So let's try to solve the mystery of this missing word, and I'll give you some clue. So the story begins during the COVID-19. Okay, so we worked double. And I'm genuine when I say that Slow Food Bologna was the first organization to deliver food where needed, and trying to help every single citizen, every people that cannot go out, the old people, for example. And considering that Slow Food in numbers, so we are more or less 10 volunteers, a bunch of chefs, 50 farmers, and 200 supporters. But with this number, we provided food for all the people that we are able to reach. And we are talking about 400 families and 100 families that cannot pay for food. So we offer food for free. And we provided food also for one of the most important public hospitals in Bologna. And how? With our limited tools, with our limited instruments like smartphone and emails, but it was possible because we are a community. So we know exactly who is in need, who is sick, and who need an help to survive during COVID-19. Okay, so again, we are a community, and we know how the members of the community are passing this moment. And instead, we noticed that local institutions seemed in real trouble when facing the food issue. And there were, I don't know, long lines outside the malls. Farmer markets were closed, and there was not a clear plan on sourcing food and so on. And it was in March, but then in May, the EU presidency launched the farm to fork strategy. And I remember that we thought, oh, wow, probably we are safe. But it was a totally wrong vision, because we tried to contact the mayor and the local representative in order to support the city designing a food strategy for all. Okay, and because we would like to to build the pillars of the future strategy after the emergency. But unfortunately, we discovered that Bologna is working far from the EU food strategy because Bologna is not working at all. And for those who don't know, Bologna is the capital of Italian food. Maybe it is a stereotype because in Italy, each city is the capital of food. Of course, I'm from Naples and there is a sort of ragu competition, but Bologna has an impressive gastronomic tradition and it's all about food. Okay, people cook together, eat together every time a day. People go out just to have a dinner or lunch together and talk about food while eating. So food is a sort of a permanent social chat, but we discovered that food is not a political priority here in Bologna. It's not a pillar of any policies or any political debates or any press conference or any public speaking and so on. So food here in Bologna is not a political issue, it's just a show business issue. And so we decided to take advantage of this 24-hour endless smart working condition. And like Slow Food, we studied very in depth every single policy of the city, 6 years of urban policies, and of course the masterpiece is a sort of a strategic plan for Bologna, and we discovered that none of the 67 projects in the city is related to food. Okay, and the story went worse and worse because in July, the mayor of Bologna decided to create a sort of cabinet of experts in order to face this terrible pandemic time, taking action on economy, education, public transport, blah, 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 but not on food, not an action to ensure access to healthy food for citizens. Okay, so again, we try to contact the mayor and to help this expert cabinet to take the right pathway. And we tried from the very bottom of Slow Food organization to design the Speedy Bologna. And the Speedy Bologna is very, very simple. It's a sort of food policy for all. And is consisted in the 5 strategic guidelines to put the food not on the stage, but at the core, at the center of the political debate here in Bologna, okay? And of course, we launched this strategy in order to enable the transition toward farm-to-fork strategy, of course, starting a conversation like an open forum, a virtual place, and we hope also a real place where we can meet the mayor, the local representative, but also producer, co-producers, traders, chef, restaurateur, association, social organization, academia, schools, research institution, and so on. So first of all, of course, our strategy pay a tribute to the Sustainable Development Goals, Green New Deal, Farm to Fork strategy, the CAP. We hope we are a stakeholder involved in the CAP, so now we are struggling a lot. And of course, we would like to maintain the point on climate change. And the second guidelines, of course, is supporting the short, slow food change that works really good during the pandemic time, the farmer markets and small producers, by building a collaborative model of economy, circular economy, of course, trying to contribute to community welfare, social inclusion, and agroecology disciplines. And of course, we would like to rewrite the rule of local economy. which for us is totally based on land resources, but people, the young and the old one. And of course, we would like to share not only the land or the roots, but even the thoughts and the fruits, like we say. And the third guideline is interesting because we would like to embrace the technology. We would like to embrace, we would like to invest in digital infrastructure, in mobility innovation, but also in artificial intelligence and in blockchain in order to optimize logistics and in order to reducing food loss and waste. And of course, it is clear that we are facing a very, very complex problem like food and climate change that works together. And this complexity requires not only social or cultural adaptation, but even technologies. But as I am a sociologist, technologies for me are the expression of a certain society, and they are made by culture, research, and academia of specific society. So the question for us is what kind of technology do we need now? Because I would like to be clear on that, because I believe that probably we don't need all the tech solutions, but we can find together the solution we need right here and right now, because technology could be nurtured from the bottom of the society. And the 4 guidelines I'm going to finish is that we would like to rewrite the city storytelling, pointing the spotlight on genuine and catering and hospitality. We would like to support local presidia, local excellent products, families, farmers, chefs. We would like to support local handcraft shops and not only the malls. And Bologna is also the city that hosted Umberto Eco, the medievalist, the philosopher, no? At the time of his death, he was an emeritus professor here at the University of Bologna, and he was just deeply involved in studying storytelling. So just to say that there are a lot of people here in Bologna who know exactly how to be a good storyteller, okay? And last guideline is, of course, promoting food and taste education in school of all levels. And we are launching an Italian campaign with the government also to searching sustainable food for children in the schools. And we have as a Slow Food a manifesto of taste and food education, because we strongly believe that food is the ideal tool to experiment and promote an articulated, complex, creative education, okay? So at the end of the story, the question is open. Bologna is the city of food. So this is in facts and number what we discovered. The long-term strategy of Bologna consisted in 67 projects. You can read by yourself the total amount of words and how many times the food, the word food is mentioned in the strategy. Just one time, just one time. But the fact is that the word food is written just one time. But most of all, the word pleasure is written 0 time, okay? And that's why we're designing this food policy, Feeding Bologna. And as a Slow Food, we are volunteering for a more responsible kind of pleasure based on a good, clean, and fair food for all. And so you can Google slow food and you can find more other information if you need. Thank you for having me, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Marina. Thank you very much. It was really interesting, and as you said, all over Italy, food is important. Is an important way of being together, talking about food, eating together, and I think this is one of the things that we are missing so much in this restriction period. So we absolutely need to go out and eat all together again. So now I would like to have on stage Stefano Valentini from Arte, and now we would like to talk about the blue economy. So we are always talking about food production, but now we move in the sea, and let's find out their activity for the blue economy in the Mediterranean area. So Stefano Valentini, please, on stage.
Hello, good morning. Good morning to everyone. So it's always difficult talking after Marina, after Slow Food Initiative, but I will try to do that, even if I will talk a little bit about the seafood. So I will
Therefore, you are on the sea, actually. So you
can see
the
my
right
background.
That's great.
Of course, I'm not in that place, but ideally, I want to be there. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank EIT Food for the great opportunity they give me to present our strategy on blue economy. First of all, I just would like to introduce our company. I'm Stefano Valentini, and Arte. Arte is a consortium for sustainable growth, and in particular for innovation and technology transfer. Is a consortium among a region, Emilia-Romagna region. We are based in Bologna also, and all the universities of our regions and research institutions. We are something like more 200 experts employed in Arte right now. So I tried just to put in this slide the main key words of our activity. So innovation is the most important, but also sustainable development, startup research, applied research, etc. So we are trying to connect the industry with the academia and try to bridge these two worlds. And more recently, we are more focused also to the fourth helix, so also the civil society, which is more and more involved in this sustainable revolution. I'm responsible for Blue Growth Initiative in our region, and I'm really involved in blue economy activity related to innovation. So I just wanted to start with this figure. This figure represents the complexity of the activities that are taking part in the sea. This figure was produced by BlueMed initiative, which is a strategy of EU Commission, but also a CSA within Horizon 2020. And this is, I take it from the Italian white paper. It's not really old, it's of the 2018. So in this figure, you can see that all this activity are taking part in the sea, and they are in a way conflicting because they are using the unique resource, which is the sea. it's really difficult to manage this complexity, and especially in order to preserve the resource, the good environmental status of the sea. You can see today we will talk, of course, not about all the activities, but we will be more focused on the aquaculture and fishery sector, which of course are related to the food industry. You can see that aquaculture is gonna to grow very rapidly, and this morning the presentation we have seen that the global trend of growth population will lead this growth. And on the other hand, professional fishing, traditional fishing, we will keep the same numbers, the same volumes. Of course, in order to not increase the pressure of the human activity on the sea. I did, not alone, of course, with a lot of partners at MED level. We did a very depth study on what will be in the next year the innovation potential in the MED area. I don't want to go through all this very detailed report we produced, but just wanted to show the process, the methodology approach we use in order to investigate the innovation potential. We know, as it has been said before, that our area is a modest, moderate innovator. So there is a lot to do for unlock the potential that that we have in our basin. Our methodology comprises 3 steps. The first one was related to the territorial level, and was aimed at investigating the key elements. We call it the attributes of per each sector, in order to understand the main characteristic for the particular sector, and the main stakeholder and the main key elements. That was interesting to combine this with a key enable factor at local level, and that enable us to have a picture of the innovation technology trajectories on this specific territory. And we did it for the 5 blue growth sectors, fishery and aquaculture, of course, but also marine renewable energy, maritime surveillance, blue biotechnology, and coastal and maritime tourism. We did it in the entire MED area, involving the 9 countries of the MED area, part of course of the European community. And the second step was the integrated analysis from the regional and country level to the MED basin. So we try to investigate the common area of innovation, the common area in which we could have opportunities and benefit, in particular related to the transnational cooperation. The last phase was devoted to analyze the cross-cutting technology issue among the 5 different sectors. You can find the overall report in the website, in our project website. This activity has been part of one project which I'm coordinating together in Emilia-Romagna region, Mr. Project. And so you can have the opportunity to read about all the 5 sectors. But today we can go a little bit further on the main relevant sector, the traditional one, fishery and aquaculture. And I just wanted in one slide to point out the main the main potential for innovation in the med area. So as we said before, marine aquaculture, it will be a very important and will grow a lot. But we have to take into consideration the sustainability of this and the high pressure that an extreme growth in this sector could bring in a very complex situation, which is our Mediterranean Sea. So sustainable marine aquaculture, the increase, there will be an increase of profitability. And of course, fish food will be important, the certification, traceability, and animal welfare. Small-scale fishery, as I said at the beginning, traditional fishery will keep the same volume, but it will be more focused on sustainability and eco-friendly products. From the traditional sector, we go to another emerging sector that is related to the blue biotechnologies. And in this specific domain, now is growing, but still is an emerging one. We identify 3 main areas. One is related to algae production, micro and micro. The second one is related to microbes and enzymes exploitation. And the third one, very important for our food processing value chain, is related to the valorization of fisheries and aquaculture byproducts and wastes. All this technology can have important impact in the health sector, pharmaceutical sectors, and also for the food sector and feed as well sector, but also with materials and also energy in the case of energy valorization. So, as we said before, we are in an area with that lack behind the innovation average level of Europe, in particular in comparison to North Sea or the other European Sea. We are a modest innovator, moderate innovator. So we need to cooperate better. We, since the beginning, since 2017, when we start working on these projects, we discovered that the community is really fragmented. And so it's another barrier for innovation. So we try to work on creating an alliance, a community on this topic, and in particular on blue bioeconomy. And for us, blue bioeconomy is relating basically to the traditional, to primary sector like fishery and aquaculture and blue biotechnology. And we are trying to create a community on that, engaging and mobilizing all relevant stakeholders of the innovation following the 4 helix approach, so policy, industry, research institution, but also civil society. And we are trying to do that thanks to MED program, to this new Blue Biomed program, Blue Biomed project, which I'm honored to coordinate. And that we started really recently. it was 1 month ago. So our main objective is to create an alliance on innovation for a blue bioeconomy, with a particular focus on regional strategy, on regional territories, on smart specialization strategies. And of course, we will have this newly transformative innovation approach, which is more focused on preserving the ecosystem, the natural resources. So starting from the sustainable approach, but working on the economic development as well. So in our project, we are not a lot, but not few. We are 44 partners. Actor for Helix. I put in the little corner a little image to remind you what is the MED area for the MED program. So we have partners in all the 9 countries. We, with more prevalence of regional and regional authorities or organizations dealing with the smart specialization strategies. This is really important because our objective is to align the regional level policy, so starting from a bottom-up approach. And I think that we, as a Blue Biomed project and EIT Food Awareness, we have got a common objective. We are both working on innovation and on the community level, on engaging stakeholders. So I think there are a common space of interaction and operation, and in particular because we got common objectives and complementarities among the countries, among stakeholders that we are engaging. And we can have opportunity also for funding leverage. We are, as I said, working pretty much with regional innovation funds, so European Structural Innovation Funds. So I think there is a good opportunity for collaboration and for boost innovation for blue bioeconomy. In which topics, in which field the cooperation will be possible? We are really pretty much interested on education process, program, innovation programs, entrepreneurship programs as well, engagement process program as well. I hope I will have the chance to further discuss and further work on this proposition together the EIT Food Regional Innovation Scheme. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Stefano, also for being perfectly in time. And now we will have just a 5 minutes break, and then we will be back for the session related to the Cross-Kick network, and we'll learn a little bit more about the other KICs, health, climate, and raw materials. So we'll be back in 5 minutes. Thank you. Thank you very much. We are back on our meeting, and so now we would like to present you other 3 kicks of the EIT network that are really related to the kick food. In fact, there are some activities that have been already carried out together, like for example the Risk Jumpstarter program that Elvira previously presented. So first, I would like to invite on stage Fiammetta Pantò, that is the Startup Assistance Manager of the EIT Health Risk Hub that is in Italy, in Sicily. And so we will learn a little bit more about the innovation in your region and in your area as a health sector. So Fiammetta, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, because I really believe that the networking between different kicks is a great value. So I was very happy to accept your invite. Just one moment. I'm trying to sharing my screen. I hope you can see it.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, great.
So, hello everybody, I'm Fiammetta Pantò, I'm from Consorzio Arca, the incubator of the University of Palermo, and we are also the RISAB for the EIT Health in Sicily. We are. Arca is a consortium for the application of research and the creation of innovative enterprises, and it has been created in 2003 in Palermo from the University of Palermo and a private group. We have a main hub within the university, which is, it covers a total area of about 1,500 square meters. It is the university campus, and it offers places where to meet, like like common spaces, like equipped offices. And we also have a prototyping space that is our Fabrica, where startups that want to develop their prototype can use our equipments and our machinery without having to buy it. We also have, we also are part of another incubator within the historic part of the city. It is named Crazy. It is only devoted to creative industries, and it's involved in social innovation activities. We often host training activities in the past, not in this period, of course. We have two big classrooms where we organize training activities from ourselves, but we also host other accelerator, other incubators, and in general training activities also managed from other institutions and other entities. We have also a co-work space where those startups that do not need a private office can work together. And it's an interesting place because it can lead to contacts, to merging of ideas. So it's a good place where to stay. What we do, our main aim is to boost our regional environment in terms of innovation ecosystem, and we want to support the process of business creation, technology transfer, and social innovation, because we know that it's necessary to increase the generation of economic value in our region. Our activities are mainly devoted to students, researchers, innovators, in order to develop their entrepreneurial potential. Our model of work is mainly based on open innovation model. So we try to foster collaborative research between industry and academy. And we want to to create a contact between tangible resources and intangible ones. So we deal with all the steps of the technology transfer process, from the identification of our new solutions to their adoption. And the final aim is to strengthen and to make it faster, the process from the lab to the market. We are also part of other international networks. In fact, we are recognized EBN incubator. We are not an Italian certified incubator, but we are it on a European level. We are also part of the Enterprise Europe network in order to help the internationalization process of companies. And we are also part of the European network of living labs. Connected with our Enterprise Europe network rule, we also have an UP IP help desk, because one of my colleagues is an IP ambassador. So we offer complete first level support on the main topics related to intellectual property. We are part of the EIT Health Consortium. EIT Health is a consortium composed of over 150 partners from leading business, research, and academia entities. It was created in 2014. And the aim of this KIC is to improve the quality of life of Europe's citizens and also the sustainability of healthcare systems. We are a part of a specific cluster within the EIT Health system. We are a part of the InnoStars cluster. It is composed of 14 countries. It's not nice to be said, but the not well developed countries. So we are working to become as good as the others. And as you can see here, there are all the InnoStars hubs. That one in pink are the oldest, like us, and Porto, Évora, and Athens. And the other one in blue are the youngest hubs. What are our targets group? We work with talents, we work with startups, we work with research groups, but also, and a great part of our activities is devoted to stakeholders, because in an idea of a complex ecosystem, we have to talk to all these subjects. So our aims are mainly to help entrepreneurial mindset, to let new entrepreneurs grow, to help startups to reach the market in a faster way, and to help researchers to bring their research products and research ideas from lab to the market. We began to work with the EIT Health in 2017, but at first we were just, how can I say, we had just to spread all the EIT Health activities in Sicily. So our main aim is to help startups and researchers to get in contact with the EIT Health and to take part in their accelerator activities and training activities. So for the first year, we were quite successful, because 6 proposals from the ARCA network were selected for the InnoStars World Call, and other 3 companies were selected for the Catapult Call. And they had a very good success in receiving grants from EIT Health. Those are some photos from the events in 2017 in Naples, because in Italy, we are the hub for Sicily, but there is one partner for the EIT Health network that is in Campania region. We continue in 2019 to work within this network, but becoming a EIT Health hub, so our role was more important. And we continue working with startups to let them to taking part in financing calls, and also we worked with students to let them participate in training activities. We also have put some companies to enter in other markets, like you can see here, one company that took part in a program that was devoted to China. It was Go to China call. And also, as I was hearing before, there was students taking part in the Starship program and also one in the Jumpstarter program. In 2019, we had our first Innovation Day. That is a training program devoted to students to help them to think about a first product that can reach the market. It's like an exercise, but it's a very intensive and nice program. In 2019, we go on with our activities with startups, and it was a very, very successful year because a lot of companies were received grants in important calls, financing call. And there were 2 people selected for the Jumpstarter program, one PhD selected for the Enjoy program. And it was, I think, that in this Enjoy program, there was also EIT Food, because it was related mainly to the problem of for people that were not able to find their good food. How can I say? Sorry. It was about, I don't know if it's in English correct word, alimentation. So a good and correct alimentation. There was also a PhD from University of Palermo taking part in the Starship program. And we had our second edition of the Innovation Day. And this year was a very strange year because everything was was online. So all our activities were converted in an online version. So workshop, seminars, also our e-days that have been done 2 weeks ago has been online. It was really challenging for us, but at the end, it was also successful, even if it was online. 3 days online is not easy with 63 students, but it has been a great success. And we also had students selected for the Jumpstarter training program and all other financing calls that were really interesting and for our startups. I'm very happy for this, for the chance to explaining you what we are doing and what we have done within the EIT Health Network. And I hope that we can go on in working together and collaborating between EIT Food and EIT Health. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fiammetta. I think that a lot of field in which food and health are really strict together. And so for sure we will have the opportunity to have some activity together. That was basically our aim for this year, but I think all restriction make everything more difficult to organize and to plan. Even this festival should have been in presence, and so we modify everything online. We are online for 5 days, so I know exactly your difficulties, and we had the same. But I think we can manage now with the technology, and we are very, very digital right now, so we can do everything even online. And now I would like to give the stage to Annalisa Spalazzi from Key Climate, and because also climate is another aspect really related with food and food production, and so it's very important to know their activity about innovation that can tackle all the climate changes that in Europe and in Southern Europe in particular we are facing. So Annalisa, please, stage.
Thank you, Barbara, and thank you, everyone. It is also such a pleasure to see here so many friends and colleagues, so thank you for having me here. As Barbara mentioned, I will focus my presentation on the aspects that are relevant in terms of the cross-kick, and also to see how we can actually further cooperate. So I will be really focusing on this aspect of what Climate Kick does. I'm going to share the screen in a second. And yeah. So why this is important, and also how was said and how deeply is connected with food, health, and other topics that we are having in EIT Kicks. There is a huge emergence of limiting the global warming to 1.5 degrees, and this is also defined by science. And what we have been realizing is that this is really requiring rapid, far-reaching, and unprecedented changes. That's why we have been analyzing in Climate Kick 10 years of experience in climate innovation. So Climate Kick is one of the first wave kicks, so with a quite long history already. And we have realized how impressive numbers we have been achieving. So a lot of startups incubated, investment, and also a huge community, which is the largest partnership in climate action across Europe. However, we have also been realizing that these all solutions taken as an individual has not led us to this change that also science is calling us to achieve, to make sure we are achieving our impact and our goals. That's why in the end of 2018, we have been issuing a new strategy, Transformation in Time, which is essentially explaining how we need to use system innovation to move from incremental approach to transformative approach in order that we are connecting all innovation activities. And this is great to have such occasion like today or other events we are enabling, because it's really on how we are connecting and we are showing impact together, because everyone can learn and can have major impact in connection and coordination compared to having single projects or incremental changes. When we talk about these changes, we define them levels of change. And you can see here which are the major ones. So we are considering those to be in funding, finance, technology, behavior, education, and skills, but also policy and regulations, as well as citizens' participation. This means that not every action that we are taking or project, of course, needs to cover all of this, but that we have to be aware, which is the levels of change that we are tackling through our initiatives, so that we are able to inform all the others in the same way. Hence, just to summarize, Climate Kick is the kick addressing those interdependent challenges on climate change and sustainable development through strategic innovation. In 2019, after the new strategy has been released, we have defined what are the deep demonstrations. That means test bed for those 1.5 consistent system transition that IPCC is calling us to achieve. And that's how we have been structuring all our work since then. This means learning by doing, being demand-led, and having a portfolio approach as mostly. Just to explain what we mean, because sometimes when speaking on system innovation, this might be coming as something theoretical, but it's actually really, really practical. It's just that we need the key concept and the key words that to be explained to make sure we are all on the same page on what we are saying. To see where we are, so in Europe, we are having a CLC in 13 countries, among which Italy. So for Climate Kick, Italy is considered as a collocation center, not a risk hub, but we are having also 14 hubs across Southern and Central Eastern Europe. And also we are starting to have a lot of partners also coming from the Western Balkans. So really developing a truly pan-European connection across Europe. In terms of Southern Italy, the site has not been yet a focus area just because of the legacy of how the programs have been defined. So it was a regional program initially when Climate Kick was started. So we have a lot of activities currently happening mostly around Emilia-Romagna, which was originally the region identified. And I've seen before speaking also our dear colleague Stefano Valentini from Arter, which is also one of our core partners. But we are also identifying which are the areas we want to invest in Southern Italy and also matching in some of the activities we already have. One of the areas we think as priority among those that we can tackle together is the energy transition. as well as the just transformation, and I will give you some example of those. Thriving inland areas and historic areas I would add as well, and the water scarcity, which is also one of the areas we are already working together with EIT Food, and you have been hearing before. And as an overall and a horizontal objective to build new level of prosperity for Southern Italy. And this is also to respond to all these challenges and structural challenges that need to be to have a systemic approach to make sure that we are actually acting on towards them all together, because they are not single problems but are really interconnected among themselves, as well as how we are engaging more youth and young people to find new jobs. Some of those activities that I wanted to mention you are listed here as examples of what we are already doing, and we can also think on how we can cooperate for the future. This is one of the activities connected to the green energy community creation, and actually is also influencing the new legislation that is in 2021 on the energy communities in Italy. So it's quite relevant one, and a huge experiment conducted by AIST, the Agenzia per lo Sviluppo Sostenibile, based in Modena, and is happening in Bologna district. When about talking on the just transformation, why we are saying it, transformation is really that is connected to the overall European goal to achieve the just transition, but really to focus on how we are supporting the social aspect and to do activities with citizens for citizens and to have the voice heard. This is one of the programs that have been launched through the demonstration, and we also believe this is one of those that we would like as well to expand even more in Southern Europe, even though we already have few activities, as you see from the map. And the digital map is, of course, accessible to everyone. This project is called the Sustainable Historic City District, and is also working in how we are transforming whole historic districts, always starting from this concept that we cannot just take one challenge by one, but we need to see the system as a whole and see where we have to start. You see, we have also 2 Italian cities in this project, which are Sassari and Savona, and this is going towards an end in the end of the year. And there is going to be the production of a plan on how we can achieve such transformation for historic districts and the connected investments that will be a shareable material that we are going to provide. And being Italian and being from the Southern Italy, I've been realizing how many of those learnings that I'm seeing could be applicable to many cities in our context as well. And similarly, the connection in terms of inland areas between the landscape and how we connect cities and rural areas. And those are all projects that, as said, can be bringing some connections to food, like the connection between land and the city. We have seen in the land and city, we have seen also in this period is quite fundamental. And I heard from the previous speeches how important it is to tackle those challenges together connected to food. And lastly, I wanted to mention as well the water scarcity, not going too much in depth because I know that has been already discussed, but this is an initiative we are really proud of and that we are really supportive of. There have been a lot of activities already happening through academies and the challenge lab, but also engaging experts. So it's been quite an intense year, even though a lot of changes because of the COVID outbreak, but we have been showing also how we can adapt easily to online and anyway stay engaged in such relevant topics. Some activities are yet to come, so till the end of the year will be also something more happening that we will be sharing. And lastly, really on the horizontal pillar of how we build new level of prosperity. Surely we need to engage youth, young people, young professionals, but also to retrain and reskill. So we have a lot of programs currently moving on that are having exactly the same, that are going from the raise awareness to the really capability building, always connected to the system innovation approach that we have decided to endorse. But from where to start? Because sometimes we say, okay, there are a lot of very good things, but if we have to start something, and I said, we don't have really something as a hub yet, or in Southern Italy, what can we do? And I want to bring you an example of something that is actually going to happen very soon. But I think it's really good to show how this actually starts before everything is moving on. So we have been thinking this summer, there was the COVID-19 call that was launched by EIT to support all the KICs and the partnership to activate the territories. We have been analyzing as Climate Kick what was the impact in Southern Europe that was extremely crazy compared also just in graphic. And this one is one of those that really speaks clearly on the impact on jobs for Southern European countries, as are highly dependent on tourism and already with several economic and social issues happening. And we have decided to bridge a consortium, bringing in the capabilities that we were developing together towards this system mapping as a service. So the real basics of how you do system innovation and system transformation on the post-COVID regional transition. This has led to have 9 countries together, which are no risk, but still all the Southern Europe together. And is also trying to see which should be the new path, as we have a lot to invest. There will be a lot of policies, a lot of strategies, and a lot of funds coming in. But if we are not taking the right direction, this might be a risk of having a lot of funds not used or used not for the main challenges of each country. And I'm mentioning this because I see this as a climate, as a transversal topic, of course, but this really intersects a lot with food, with health and raw materials, but all that we can say as a challenge for Southern countries. This means that we are now in this aspect of this process. So creating participatory processes to have data and information, but the final goal of those processes is to build knowledge and wisdom for how we work in the system and where we should start in terms of actions. Practically, it will be now a workshop happening on the 1st December. I put still Bari, even if it's going to be online, because the municipality of Bari is going to be the host, what we call the challenge owner for this challenge, on how we are going to build some transformative actions for the city as an example for the Southern Europe in the future. This is also going to be a sort of recommendations and policy recommendations for the 9 countries together, and for each case in each country as a single one. But I think this can be a really good starting point for us to build again and to strengthen cooperation for 21 and onward. And with this, I thank you for the attention and give back the floor to Barbara.
Thank you very much, Annalisa. And there's lots of things to do and lots of opportunity to cooperate also with your KIC for the next years for sure. And now I would like to introduce the third KIC invited here today. That is the EIT Raw Material Hub, the regional center Southern Italy, and I have here the representative Michele Penza from Enea. So Michele, thank you again for being with us, and please show us your experience as hub for the KIC raw materials. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Annalisa. Thank you to organizing committee for this opportunity to give information about RISAB Italy, founded for EIT raw materials. Regional Center South Italy is hosted in Enea Research Center in Brindisi, Puglia. So Regional Center South Italy is one out of 5 regional hubs distributed in Europe, and strongly connected to collocation center Rome, South Europe. So the team is already mentioned. We have organized by coordinator, business development, and educational manager, including 14 researchers from different disciplines, and communication and webmaster teams. Our regions area are already Southern Italy regions like Puglia, Campania, Molise, Basilicata, Campania, Sardinia, and Sicilia. And the team is cross team by Enea and CNR. Enea is a leader of this activity, and CNR is a partner of this activity. So We have already started in January 2019, and we planned the annual business planning activity, and we are confident to move more in next year according to strategic innovation agenda of EIT raw materials. So the mission of Regional Center South Italy is already to mobilize knowledge triangle and stakeholder partners in Mediterranean area, especially in southern Italy, focus on recycling and reuse, substitution of materials, exploration technologies, processing and characterization of advanced materials, and functional materials for manufacturing and transportation, with the main focus on circular economy. One important key point is to strongly connection with cross-kick activity, including climate, manufacturing, and as well other opportunity. For example, EIT Food Bari node. So, what we offer? First, support to business and entrepreneurship, because we have already created a strong network and collaboration in advanced material and sustainable technologies, support to better competitiveness for company in the sector of materials, especially in aerospace and automotive, and consulting in critical raw materials and circular economy to companies, and matchmaking with the future industrial needs. The second pillar is research and innovation. We offer possibility for training on job for company and for managers, for students, and excellent expertise and skills in sector of materials for transportation, substitution of critical and toxic materials, international cooperation, and matchmaking and networking for national and international projects. The third pillar of activities of Regional Center South Italy is devoted to education and training. This is an important point for future generation to create future jobs, and we have already planned bachelor, master, PhD courses, and winter school. Training in laboratories devoted to critical raw materials, and collaboration with the local academia and research centers, and supporting for business and startup and spin-off. So the strategies of Regional Center South Italy devoted to critical raw materials is to support sustainable industry, business for sustainable development, increase ecological footprint and local ecosystems, training and education of young innovators and researchers, and cross-kick collaborations, as I mentioned, climate, manufacturing, urban mobility, digital, food, and matching to regional development policies and smart specialization strategy. So some figures. We have already budget for 2 years for EIT raw materials. We have already supported and educated 15 startups and small medium enterprise. We have already engaged at least 2,000 different 2,000 stakeholders in different events. We have already installed stakeholder committees with at least 50 participants. We have already founded 2 awards connecting matter in business competition in Startup Puglia 2019 and 2020 editions. And we have already a grant for mapping of stakeholders in southern Italy in order to better know what is the local ecosystem in order to finalize and specialize initiatives. So we have already signed a memorandum of understanding with Apulia region in order to include critical raw materials in local smart specialization strategy. And of course, this is an important point because policymakers should know what is the opportunity for local development. So what we shall do in next year, of course, we try to boost our community and to build local community from industry and academia stakeholders. We need to push more in education and the training for wider society learning, dissemination and communication plan, and contribution to S3 regional programming. Of course, we will use all tools for networking, communication, and dissemination as well. One important point is to try to strengthen the collaboration with European risk hubs in EIT raw materials, but also in cross-kick nodes and hubs. So some specific activities we have already planned in December international workshop in critical raw materials innovation frontiers series. This is of course a virtual workshop. International conferences in collaboration with Associazione Mineraria Sarda in mineral activities. We have already successful meeting a few days ago. 150 participants in these events. Matchmaking meeting and info day meeting as well, more than 100 participants in these events from local communities. Connecting Matters, we have already awarded a spin-off in business competition in Puglia. So training and activities, education are important. We have already done winter school on WE, raw materials course on circular economy, and we have already colloquium in collaboration with the virtual festival Scienza Iglesias in Sardinia, and already planned the EIT raw materials training for wide society learning during European Researchers' Night in next Friday. So this is, of course, a typical virtual meeting, info day on 15 October with large participants for all representative from Southern University, from Calabria, from Campania, from Puglia, from Sardinia and Sicilia. And so this is last slide for dissemination. We will plan a meeting, virtual meeting and training for university students and manager during European Research Night. This is open event. We will use a typical digital platform, and we will talk about speakers. We will talk about critical raw materials from speakers from Technical Hamburg University, consortium area for WE, and speaker from Enea about carbon materials fibers. So I would like to give information and coordinates how to reach us. And I would like to thank all of you for attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Michele. You had a very intensive year too by moving everything online, and I know how difficult it is. So I'm pleased you also reached your aim for this year. So now I would like to briefly show you the main activity that University of Bari as EIT Food Hub did in this last 3 years. As said before, we were selected as Italian hub to be the regional contact point in Italy for EIT Food. So since 2018, University of Bari is working together with Technopolis and Balab, but also through its participation in consortium like Accabio, is the cluster agri-food at national level. We are developing all activities in the RIS areas, such as those presented previously, so demo days, government academy, as well as innovation prizes and so on. As per dissemination and networking activities, we organized meeting, we organized we organize a workshop and an autumn school, several events giving the opportunity to startups and stakeholders to work together and to meet and to knowing better possibility to cooperate and work together. All these activities have been carried out at local, but also at a national level. Then we work for students too, and so we organize in the last 3 years the fellowship and talents selection. This is a paid internship of 3-6 months dedicated to students, and so we gave the possibility in the first year to 5 students, and then to other 8 students in 2019, and other 7-8 in this year to participate and to have this opportunity for being in one of the main companies and research institutes of the EIT Food Consortium. Then we organize also activities for startups. And so we have the innovation prizes and demo days competition in these last 3 years, with 3 startups awarded for each competition. And later on we will also the presentation of one of these two of these startups involved in our activities. Then we promote the Government Executive Academy, that is an academy for public representative in order to improve their knowledge about especially the 3S, and also about the planning new policies concerning development and innovation in food. this year, of course, all the academy was done online, and at the end we had the possibility to present some project idea that can be developed. So they had the possibility to really plan together some activity. Then this year, for the first time, we had the possibility to organize in Italy the Consumer Engagement Lab, that is a co-designed laboratory for new food product. This is I think the most thrilling opportunity we had this year to organize something very, very particular, because we selected 17 senior consumer over 65 years old, and they worked together for 10 days online. So they were working, divided in 3 groups, and working together in order to create 3 new idea of product each. These ideas have been then presented to our companies involved in the project, Valle Fiorita and Innovabile, and after that they choose the most valuable product, and they will plan to put it on the market within a year. And later on, also Luana from Valle Fiorita will present us their experience. This was very thrilling, as I was saying before, because it was very nice to see how senior consumers are so really involved in all these activities. They were happy to be there, and I think that the idea of consumer and citizen at the center of all innovative policies is very important. It is one of the strengths of the EIT. This is an idea on how happy they were. Then I would like to finally talk to you about one another very important aspect of the EIT, and it was presented previously by Elvira, that is the ERD expert community. This could be really interesting for all of you, because this is a community with the purpose of create a collaborative agri-food field for experts that work together on innovative solutions. So the idea is to create this LinkedIn network, mainly from Europe, with the possibility to exchange information, experience, information also about calls, about opportunity, not only from EIT, but from the whole sector. And the main objective is to become the reference platform from the community of experts. So if you are interested in enter, you can just request the access to the LinkedIn group that is the Agri-food future community at this link, but they are looking for really quality membership. So, for example, this year we have 195 new members, but 58 have been rejected. So if you would like also more information, you can go on the website of EIT Food, that is eitfood.eu, or write an email to know something more about this specific aspect. These are our email. Mostly of you already know for my communication and information, and so these mainly the activities that we have been carried out this year. And now I would like to show how important were these activities also for some of our participants. So I would like to give the stage to Luana Lionelli from Valle Fiorita. And Valle Fiorita was the partner involved with us in the Consumer Engagement Lab, and they were the company that was selected then for preparing the product and put it on the market. Luana, are you here? I've lost her.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, the stage is yours.
Yes, thank you. Nice to meet you, and nice to meet you, and very thanks for this kind invitation. I will share. Okay, so I'm Luana Lionelli. I'm a PhD in food microbiology, and I'm a part of a research and development team of Valle Fiorita. I'm shortly I'm going to present Valle Fiorita and to share with you our experience within the consumer engagement labs. Valle Fiorita is an Italian SME specialized in baked goods manufacturing. The most important products are Puccia Salentina, that is a typical Apulian bread, but also focaccia alla pala and pre-cooked dogs for pizza. It's known that food demand will increase anywhere from 59% to 98% by 2050. And moreover, some demographic trends such as low birth rate and lengthening life expectancy will lead to the growing of the over 75 population. The over 75 people are very exigent for the food that they shows because of their pathological condition. And for all of this, Valle Fiorita is aware to play an important role in the development of a new form of healthy and innovative foods. And it's considered research and development the core of the innovation process. And in particular, Valle Fiorita gained a very excellent know-how in food biotechnology and the search of unconventional and functional new ingredients. We know that demand is driven by consumer preference. And it's for this that for Valle Fiorita, it was very important, its participation to this project. Consumer Engagement Lab started in June with the consumer engagement. As Barbara said, with 10 days of workshop in online mode because of this pandemic moment. but it doesn't stop our work fortunately. And so these 17 consumers were divided in 3 groups. And during the last workshop day, they share with all of us their new food proposal. And the Karubo snack has been the choice. It's because of its best potential for commercialization, and even if and also because we consider it like a bridge from past to future, because we use an old healthy ingredient to make an innovative snack. Many studies have shown that carbs and their products can promote human health. This because they contain a high bioactive compound such as antioxidant, polyphenols, and fiber. And for this finding, the carob fruit is an excellent ingredient for the development of new functional foods. So carob snack is an aperitif snack, combination of carob flour and mix it with whole grain flour and unconventional flours. Local raw materials such as extra virgin olive oil and Valle Fiorita made type 2 sourdough, and some traditional food products. Carubo snack will be produced in a small rounded shape or in form of little cracker bites, and without any preservative or additive. So with a clean label and with a long shelf life, at least 6 months. Carubo snack will be characterized by a high content of fibers and protein and low calories. Then we can say that consumer engagement labs has been an innovative form of idea sharing and a path to stimulate consumers and research creativity. Through this experience, Valle Fiorita has known the real needs of consumer to recover tradition in order to blend it with a modern and healthy view. And so I really want to say thanks you for your attention. And I want to say thanks to my colleagues that are in these pictures. It's a nice picture. And I want to say that really Valle Fiorita believe that all together we can do great things. So good luck to everybody.
Thank you, Luana. This is a real concrete example of how EIT Food can bring new products and innovation in even in the market. So we are now really curious to taste this new product, especially our senior consumer. They were calling me quite daily, asking who won, which product will be on the market. They're very involved in these activities. Now I would like to have on stage Lisa Esposito from Authenticon, that is one of our startup finalists in the demo days of this year, and we would like to hear from her their experience in coping with EIT Food and our activities. So Lisa, please, on stage. We cannot hear you. Lisa, we cannot hear you very well. That's the worst part of the digital meeting. Let's try again. No. Would you try it again with the plug? If you have headphone.
Do you hear me?
Yes, now perfectly.
It was, I needed to choose another microphone.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa, and welcome.
Yeah, can I share my screen?
Absolutely.
Okay, so, wait a second, I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah, there. Okay, so I'm very happy to be with you today, and very grateful for this opportunity of presenting again my my startup. I don't want to repeat myself because yesterday we launched, we watched the video from the presentation of every startup included in this event, and so I just want to raise some main points to let you understand better our experience with the EIT Food. So my startup is an agri-food startup at its very early stage. We created this Casa Pledi project back in 2018. So we began writing the project because there were some funds from the Molise region, from where I come, and under the Regional Operational Program 2014 and 2020, and connected, of course, to the RIS strategy. So we decided that we could use our skills and competencies in the technology, digital competencies to build a project which in the end is not just about technology, but is also about production, agri-food production. So at the beginning, it was more a marketing a project on marketing agri-foods, but we understood also through some experiences we had with some acceleratons we did with Invitalia, that just making the marketing part of the story would not have been successful, because we understood we needed to experiment, to do like a laboratory, to explain better what our goals. So so we decided to build a laboratory and do a traceability system of agri-food by experimenting the transformation of agri-foods and extracting data about the origin of these agricultural raw materials, and building a database about not just the origins of agri-food, but also the way agri-food is transformed into healthy and almost handmade preserves. And in order to then provide this information to the consumers in order to enhance their knowledge about the food and their awareness about consuming healthy foods, and also foods that are coming from the local producers. So we decided that the initial investment, which was 77,000 euro from the Molise region and some 50,000 euro from a bank loan, would have helped us purchase the main machineries that we needed for the experimentation. And after that, it took us 2 years to go public and begin the experimentation this August. So we bought a production line from a local producer, a local manufacturing company. This production line is a multifunctional production line, allows us to have a production of preserves that is certified and that is preserves each nutritional and qualitative element of the initial raw material. And this production line has a computer in it. It comes with a computer, and we extract the data about the production of preserves from the production line, from this computer. We connected this computer in cloud with an oven with which we produce, we do recipes, and we serve these recipes in a restaurant. We do it through this narrative menu. So when the client comes and comes to eat in our restaurant, he has all the access to this data about where we bought the raw material, how we transformed it into preserves, or maybe into recipes that are the recipes that linked to our traditional Mediterranean diet. And he access to this data. Why we choose to compete for the EIT Food, this is a model, this is a traceability system. And so we have the production line, we have the oven, we have a data cloud database, and we do data entries about the raw materials and also the preparation of the raw materials, and we put everything into a QR code, which is accessible through our traceability app, the Food Identity Storytelling app. Why we decided to do to be part of EIT Food. First of all, because in July we had the machineries, but we needed some more, financing to begin the experimentation. And so we decided, because it was a prize, and we were maybe we knew that our mission and our vision aligned to the priority of the EIT Food. It gave us confidence to participate. And also we understood that we were very eager to get involved in a European-wide network to share our ideas with experts and receiving their feedbacks, to receive some high quality training, such as that we received during the innovation prize, in the preparation of the innovation prize, and also to connect with the National EIT Food Hub in Bari, which is very close to Molise. So we believe it was useful and also strategic to be part of this network. And also, of course, this challenge helped us focus more on our projects, like really focus on, when you are, when you have to do a project, when you implement a project, you have lots of stuff and activities to do. And maybe partaking to a competition gives you the time to focus on what you are doing and to really focus also on the strengths and weaknesses of your ideas, because you compare with the ideas of others and you find new ideas. You also maybe want to see what other people do, and if they are doing better, you can learn something. And of course, we have lots of ideas and projects that we want to share with possible partners and stakeholders. We have some competencies in project design and management. So we know the European priorities and programs. So we think that the EIT Food Network can be also something we can use to search partnerships, new partnerships, and do more projects. And also, Then when we won the third prize, being among the winners of this innovation prize, which is a transnational prize with 18 countries participating, 300 startups. I knew at the end it was 300 startups competing in each overall, boosted our confidence, saying, okay, we are here in Molise, we are doing this project, and people who know us and came to visit in the restaurant said, oh, it's a great project, because they understood the impact it has locally, but still seeing that this can have an impact also transnationally at European level gives us a little boost of confidence. So this is what I wanted to share with you today, just really my personal and experience, and not just the project, but also what I felt, how I feel now being part of this network. And I hope there will be more initiatives and more, more initiatives in which we can be involved.
Thank you, Lisa. And just the meeting of yesterday, as we said at the end, was just the beginning of a networking activity that EIT Food would like to carry on among startups, stakeholders, and all actors of the food sector. So thank you again for showing your experience with us. And now I would like to have on stage Davide De Nicolò from Technopolis, who was involved in carrying out the water scarcity program that Elvira and also other speakers from the KICS mentioned before, because this year Technopolis was engaged for organizing the workshop of final workshop of water scarcity for Italy, and so we would like also to have their experience with this thrilling program. Please, Davide.
Thank you very much, Barbara. First of all, let me say just one thing. You mentioned regarding Valle Fiorita that senior are waiting for new products. Let me say not only senior, but all families, as my children are really in love with their products. So
that's great.
Congratulations to Valle Fiorita. Congratulations to Valle Fiorita.
Thank you. Really, thanks.
And so EIT Food, EIT Climate, EIT Manufacturing, EIT Raw Materials, and BioAzul joined forces to face the real challenges around the water scarcity. The objective of this program is to enhance knowledge and overcome current barriers to tackle water scarcity in Southern Europe through innovation, entrepreneurship, education, and communication. And so this program carries out a series of activities from research to innovation and education to joint efforts and effectively find the appropriate solution to water shortages in Southern Europe. As you mentioned, Technopolis organized the InnoWise Challenge Lab in Bari, one of the 3 startup events with the aim of finding innovation for water scarcity in Southern Europe. The other 2 events took place in Spain and Greece. After 3 months of an intensive training and a specialized workshop held by the best experts in the agri-food sector and water sector, 7 startups competed in a pitch competition. These companies presented their pitch to the speakers, participated in a panel discussion with investors, and of course they collaborated with their peers and the best professionals in the sector. Let me say just a few words on the event we organized. We organized the event by rotating panels around the pitch competition, and after a keynote speech by Alfiere Pollici on the theme of water stress in the Euromed context, there was an interesting roundtable with the public and private investors. Then there was the pitch competition that saw one startup, the startup Captive Systems, win the first prize with the sum of 10,000 euros, while the second one received the sum of 5,000 euros. And then we presented also two success stories, two projects founded by the Interreg Greece Italy program, the Sunwater and the Rewater projects. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Davide, also for your involvement. I know that even organizing those events was not so easy due to the digital transformation of an in-person event. And now I would like also to give again the word to Fiammetta Pantò, because she will also present the experience of another startup involved in our activity, that was Navitec. And so please, Fiammetta, on stage again.
Yeah, thank you. I'm here on behalf of Navitec because unfortunately they were involved in academic issues, because they are not only a startups, but they are also a spin-off from the University of Palermo. So they are researchers and professors, and they have a lot of things to do between in the university. But I know them very well because I know that since their product was just an idea. So I've seen all the process from the idea to the prototype, and I can talk today about them with you. Just one moment to share the presentation. Okay. So sorry if I read, but I don't want to say nonsense, because they are a really good technical group, and I want to say all the correct things about them. So Navitec is an innovative startup and an academic spin-off of the University of Palermo that was born in June 2016, with the idea to give a new shape to nutraceutic supplements. Navitec offers an innovative solution by developing a new way to isolate plant biofunctional compounds with healthy properties. Because when they were thinking about the problem, they realized that today, due to a busy lifestyle and due to difficulty in obtaining healthy foods, very often consumers' preferences shifted to ready-to-eat meals that are not always so healthy. There could be a solution. Food supplements are the current solutions, but they are not always effective. Why? Because consumers are seeking out benefits without changing their lifestyle habits, and a single active ingredient is not sufficient to give benefits. So Navitec proposed a solution that has been developed to provide consumers a healthier diet that does not alter their lifestyle habits, but is able to give them concentrate biofunctional compounds with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. This solution has been developed from Navitec, working on small vesicles extracted from lemon juice. And these small vesicles collect, protect, and concentrate these biofunctional compounds. With these small vesicles, Navitec is able to concentrate all the effective properties of 1 liter of juice in 1 dose. They developed a patent on this product, and so now they are able to provide stable plant vesicles in various forms: liquid, spray-dried, or lyophilized. They have already conducted a clinical trial that has demonstrated that this product is able to reduce LDL cholesterol by 18% and waistline by 1 centimeter. This product is versatile for nutraceutical, functional foods and beverages, and also for the cosmetic sector. They began a few years ago. At first, they were also involved, as probably you have seen in my previous presentation, in some EIT Health activities. And Stefania, founder, has also been involved in many training activities by EIT Health. This year, they took part in EIT Food competition, and they were able to gain a prize. And with this prize, they were able to realize a part of the product sampling for market test, because after the clinical trial, they want to realize an accessory market test, and then to go to an in-house production and research and development activities. This is the team. They are, as I was saying before, a very good technical group. They are composed of 4 women and 1 man. Riccardo Alessandro, there is a professor, he's a co-founder. Stefania Raimondo, she's a researcher, and also Alice Conigliaro. There is also one co-founder. There is, how can I say, more is involved in the business management of the company. And one very important part of this company is the industrial partner, Agrumaria Corleone, represented by Valeria Corleone. So this industrial partner is able to give them the raw material to work on. And another most important thing is that this raw material is a second raw material. So this could be a waste, but they are using it to produce a new product. So thank you for your attention, and I've been very happy to talk to you about Navetech.
Thank you very much, Fiammetta, and we finished the presentation by today, so we thank you all for being today with us. I just would like to share with you the other events we are going to have this week for the Italian Innovation Festival, because tomorrow there will be our workshop on information, education and updating, because we think that for the expert and the workers in all sectors, specialized publishing, professional training, technical assistance, as well as fairs and exhibition can be a very important moments for self-updating and create innovative products, ideas and services. On the 26th, in the morning and in the afternoon, there will be 2 workshops related to the SUDAP project that Elvira presented at the very beginning of this day. And this is the final event of the project for the year 2020 related to the dairy sector. And the first workshop will be dedicated to dairy farmer, and the second on producer, but is open to everybody. And there will be a specific roundtable with experts in which discuss about thematic issues. And then on the 27th of November, as well as KIC Raw Material, we organize an event for the European Researcher Night. This will be in the afternoon, so we will not overlap with the raw material event. And we will present 12 research mature research from University of Bari that can be discussed and can be applied by innovative companies or startups. So you can find all these events on our Eventbrite page. with all the links and also the agenda. So if you are interested in attending these other events, you are really, really welcome. And I hope to see you again in these following days. We thank you once again for being today, and we hope to see you in person in next year for a new meeting and thrilling activity with the EIT. Thank you again to everybody.